I'm with Chris Carmody here. He's a Loadmaster of his C-130. Chris, what do you do here?
Well, the C-130 is used mostly for tactical airlift. We're based out of Ramstein with this bird. The majority of times we use it for getting people in and out of places that are more difficult for other aircraft to get into. We also use it a lot for humanitarian efforts and then for airdropping supplies and other humanitarian needs to people in different locations all around the world, whether it be across Europe or down into Africa as well. The big thing that this plane has kind of revolutionized is the ability to get people out to medical transport. So being that it is more difficult for larger aircraft to get in and out of different situations, it's a lot easier for us to go pick up people who need an aeromedical evac and then get them to the treatment that they need as quickly as possible. So it's really increased the survivability of people out in the field.
Humanitarian work. Can you give an example of which humanitarian work you've done?
Yeah, so whether it's dropping food or supplies, that's definitely a common one that we do. We'll do our low-cost, low-altitude drops, where we basically lower the ramp and door, fly over an area that needs food or supplies, and then we can throw stuff by hand out the back, or we can do our CDS drops and drop little 48 by 48 platforms, 48 by 48 inch platforms, and basically get them whatever they need, whether it's food, supplies, medical supplies, anything like that. I had no idea what Loadmaster was until I got done with my first tech school. And then once I got shipped to my second tech school, I kind of got an idea of what it was that I'd be doing, and I thought to myself, I was like, okay, I lucked out, but yeah, no regrets. I know that there's a lot of real-world impact that this mission and this AFSC is allowing me to be a part of. So for the most part, the calculations are done by the computers, which makes it a lot easier, but we still got to double check everything.
You do also.
Yeah. As a Loadmaster, we basically are in charge of the weight and balance, cargo onloading, offloading, airdrop, basically everything other than flying the airplane, we have our hands in. So whether it's regular checklists during takeoff and landing, any kind of emergency checklists, or regular cruise checks, as we call them, going around and checking the status of systems while we're flying. So we kind of got our hands in everything. As a Loadmaster, cargo is my forte. So anything that's loading, unloading, airdropping, combat offloading, jettison of cargo, anything like that, that's our main forte.
Can you take us to the back of the aircraft and maybe show us a little about the unloading or loading?
Yeah, no problem.
And give me examples of what is loaded, unloaded.
Of course, yeah, just watch your head on here.
I already bumped it earlier, so.
Yeah, right?
Too late.
They always say either watch your head or watch your language. Excuse me, man. Excuse me.
How are you, sir?
Doing well yourself? So here we have the cargo compartment. We're looking at about 56 feet of floor space in here. I'd say the most recently reworked part of this, as far as improvement off of the old Hercules or the H model, would be the cargo handling system. We call it the ECHS, so Enhanced Cargo Handling System. It consists of our dual rails, so this one here and the other one on the other side, and then the roller conveyor system in the floor. So the entire floor has aluminum rollers stowed under it. So once we go ahead and flip these out, you have a lateral alignment of 4 rollers, and this allows us to move palletized cargo on and off. So palletized cargo or airdrop platforms, everything will sit on top of these rollers, and you could have a pallet that weighs up to and above 10,000 pounds. So basically, if it fits in here and it's good as far as our center of gravity and our limitations per compartment, we'll ship it. C-130Js, you're looking at about 42,000 pounds of cargo. But of course, that varies based on your fuel load as well. Most common cargo would be like food rations. So we bring food rations down into Africa. We also have like up-armored vehicles that we can move, Humvees, basically any kind of cargo that they have opportune at a location or that they specifically want moved from a location. We'll pick it up and we'll move it for them.
How many Humvees can fit in here?
Well, I guess that kind of breaks down. No, definitely. Maybe I'd probably say 4.
That many? 4,
maybe 5. Probably closer to 4, but it also depends on their weight. So if they're up armored, then there are specific ways that you have to restrain them. We have 10,000 pound chains, or chains that can hold up to 10,000 pounds. We also have a couple of 25,000 pound chains available for us on here, but you would need to do a lot of restraint for the up armored Humvees. So long as everything's within limits, then we're good to go on those. The Loadmasters have to be basically on their game. So if we load cargo incorrectly, or if we set something up where the center of gravity or the center of the balance of the airplane is outside of its limitations, it could make it life-threatening for everyone, including ourselves, of course, on the crew. So we know that the C-130 operates with a specific set of limitations as far as where its what we call percentage of Mach, its center of gravity, can be. But we also have the computer, so if we're operating in different operating areas based on the weight of the aircraft, of course the limitations change, so they get a little bit more restrictive or a little less restrictive based on how we're moving. As far as cargo is concerned, it's important to know our center of gravity for the cargo. So we can calculate that basically, pen and pencil, or paper and pencil, and then once we have that, we can onload the cargo, and then we are able to upload the cargo weight and the center of balance into our computer, so the MFCD, which is a newer feature on this aircraft. Once we get everything loaded into there, it double checks the new cargo load versus our operating weight and everything else that we have on the aircraft to give us a percentage of Mach. And so long as that falls within our limitations and our cargo is restrained correctly, we're good to go.
How many hours before a flight or before a cargo flight do you have to prepare for it?
I usually like to start preparing 1 or 2 days in the future. So we'll call the cargo POC, or the point of contact, see if we can get any kind of more specific information about what we're expecting to pick up or what we're expecting to move over there. And then from there, I'll start running the charts, whether it's any kind of hazardous material or whether we're trying to figure out exactly what our load plan is going to be. It's good to get that information about a day or two in advance, and then go ahead and confer with the other Loadmaster as well to see if we can basically hammer it all out before we get to the plane. Of course, things change. It's very fluid within this career field. So once we get out, a lot of times we have cargo that we weren't expecting or less cargo than we were expecting. So it allows us to basically have a generalized idea, but we are also trained to be able to change that at a moment's notice. It's a interesting culture within the C-130 community. We all like to stay very fluid, very relaxed, very laid back, but at the same time know that we're doing what we're supposed to do correctly. So there are time for fun and games, and we definitely have a lot of them, but when we're getting the mission done and we're basically setting up what we need to set up to get this mission done, we're very serious. We're always on our game. But as soon as that's done, no problem to go have a couple of beers with the crew.
Fantastic. Thank you for serving the country. We really appreciate it.